from cancelling such deals, potentially leading to litigation that could cost Kenya billions of shillings.
The decision by President William Ruto to cancel 2 Adani deals, one involving the JKIA takeover and the other in the energy sector, has sparked fears that Kenya may face monetary repercussions.
For me, it is an embarrassment of monumental proportions. In fact, all those who participated in the signing of Adani deal, action should be taken upon them because they were involved from the beginning. So that means the government was never advised by those who are responsible in the ministry to advise on the legality of this particular deal. Finally, there will be consequences because this is a contract that has been signed. There is a breach of contract. So there will be consequences that will follow the cancellation of that particular contract.
However, Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has denied claims that Kenya will have to pay compensation as a result of backing out of the agreement with Adani.
Even that one which is signed can be negotiated and can still be cancelled because the moment you give the contract, I don't see any possibility of losing any money. Compensating them for what? For doing what? Because the only thing is the amount they paid, which would be refunded. Yeah? Because it is not a mutual termination. There is no, in PIP, there is no much expenses that are involved. So what would you compensate them for? So I don't see any problem. PIP is the most flexible method of procurement.
But was this cancellation driven by public opinion or pressure from the United States, which had previously indicted Adani?
Listen to the citizens, stakeholders, that can cancel the Adani controversial.
Is it citizens or partner states?
No, citizens. It's the citizens.
Information from their partners, especially international partners, and then this makes me feel very sad that a deal that every one of us felt and knew that is a fake deal, is not a deal that is for the best interest of the people of Kenya. The president has to wait until the Adani people are inducted in other countries. They have not even done due diligence on these deals. It makes me wonder how many others would be wrong that will have to call for the cancellation.
Nevertheless, leaders from both the minority and majority sides of the political divide have praised the head of state for his move.
So happy to know that the president has heeded to our call as parliamentarians, because we also saw that the process, it is not the issue, it is not actually the person or the company, but the process of procurement of these services was not done in accordance with the procedures and the law.
When they expressed their views on those hashtags, it means something for this administration. That is, to me, the greatest take home today, and I'm happy that now we have an open governance, we have a government that is listening to the public, and we have now decisive leadership that's saying when this happens, we make a decision and we move forward.
About Adani has been a crucial issue and a thorn in the flesh. Questions about accountability, questions about public participation, and questions about good governance. So I think it is a good thing that not only that one, but also the procurement issues about Ketro.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Honorable Geoffrey Ruko, ramifications of this, and there even calls for all those involved in the deal action to be taken against them, even as there are fears that Kenya's top government officials could have their offshore assets and accounts frozen over the Adani. This includes the Cabinet Secretary, Opiyo Wandayi, Kipchumba Murkomen, and Davis Chirchir.
As far as our airport is concerned and our electricity or power generation and distribution is concerned, this country must get airport done. We must be able to lower our costs of power.
That's okay.
As an economy.
On the cancellation.
Let me make my point, Chacha. And I have a proposal. Instead of us investing in JKIA, we need to get a brand new airport probably somewhere in Konza. A huge mega international airport in Konza. We need to relocate Wilson Airport from where it is to JKIA. Let JKIA handle local flight as well as other international flights, but we need a brand new international airport. And we can have it somewhere in Konza. Konza City, there's a serious mega investment which is going on there. And a lot of work has been done. Huge infrastructure has been put in place. We'll be taking advantage of Konza City and extending this city towards that direction. Also, we see the express highway moving from Murongo all the way to Konza City. That is the kind of direction which I would want this government to take. Because Kenya is a serious hub within the region and also internationally. And we have to take advantage of that. If there are wrongdoing which have been done in the process of this Adani deal, regardless if it has been done by who, let the law take its course. If there are money which have been shared, I don't know, as you are saying, to whichever account, let us know. Let the law take its course. So,
even bribery accusations that President William Ruto could have received about 13 billion in terms of kickbacks. And maybe the decision now was the final payment was done. And just to get an excuse, you said that the US has, requested you to move and cancel the deal.
I will not participate in rumors, Chacha. I don't have information of whether there are monies which exchange hands to who. I don't know.
By the way,
and let's not work with street rumors.
It's okay. Politically, Honorable Ruku,
yes,
you are a close ally of the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. Has President William Ruto vindicated Rigathi Gachagua? He termed Adani as a scam.
Why are you saying I'm a close ally of Deputy President Kithure Kindiki?
It's in the public domain.
I'm not a close ally of the Deputy President. What I am is I'm supporting the President and the Deputy President.
Well, you hail from the East together. It's okay.
Yeah? Because of where I come from. I represent...
Has President Ruto vindicated Rigathi Gachagua?
Sorry?
Finally?
Because of what?
The Adani deal, the cancellation.
Chacha, as I said, from the word go, the information which was on table is that Adani Group is a good, reputable international company.
Despite the then Deputy President terming it as a scam.
Just let me finish. Which has done many projects outside there, okay? At the moment, there is new information. And when we are talking about...
is it really new? Rigathi Gachagua seemed, as a truthful man,
show me where...
seemed to be telling President Ruto something that
show me where,
was eventually to come.
Show me where, or get me information, where Rigiji said this company...
I was there at the Deputy President's residence, then just before he came to Parliament. I was present. Honorable Okech, you know, according to John Mbadi, Treasury Cabinet Secretary, he says no compensation, but there is refund. Still, taxpayers' money will be used.
Yeah, I think number one, where we find ourselves, if today I was to advise the government, because we have been very generous as experts from ODM side to be able to, you know, and we must love our country and make and help the government work where it wants to work, where it doesn't want to work, then we can be able to part ways and in terms of ideological understanding. But I think as standing right now, the government is willing to take counsel, which is why I think that President Ruto has taken counsel. And despite the fact that it's late, the cancellation has happened. I think, Chacha, what must happen right now, from what Mbadi has just said, okay, is that because this Adani issue has been an issue of lack of transparency entirely, this is the opportunity for the president to force a complete, total, transparent conversation on Adani for once and for all. The president and the relevant ministries must come out with what were these contracts. Because we can't answer somebody based on feelings or on some one or two statements here that have been said politically or not. I would like being factual. What is the basis for Mbadi saying that the only payment that will be done is a repayment on what I would call, in a proper diligence process, applications and commitments made in the application process? what can tell us that is only a document that Adani signed with our government. Right now, what I think that will help the president is for him to come out and share with the public, share with us the contracts that Adani has had, so that it's on the basis of the details of those contracts. Mbadi can only say that they will not be compensated if the contract say that in the event of cancellation of this deal, then this implies that we will not be able to do this and that. But Chacha, I can tell you for a fact that if we don't take that route of proper transparency on the contracts as they were right then and right now, we will still have this smoke of whether there's truth around Adani, and this thing will just keep on being on our head. Because the truth is that for a 98 billion power investment, for a 238 billion JKI upgrade investment, surely, Chacha, there will be some diligence commitment, right? Number one, you cannot come up with engineers' estimates without engineers visiting sites, looking at the capacity of that airport, being able to do some work with some accountants to help them come up with figures. For the power plant that were, the power deals that were supposed to be done with Ketraco, there's definitely some environmental impact assessment that must be done. There are a lot of appraisals in general that I'm talking about with engineers' reports with regards to all the costs that have gone into that. We don't know how much that money is. Then we don't know who took care of what in that diligence process. Did Adani use that entire amount as an investor to be able to go through that entire work? Or was our government using that entire amount? So if Adani used that amount in the diligence process, and the contract says that this is your sunk cost, so that you are doing a feasibility study, whether you can carry this project, and in the event that you don't go with it, the contract says that we will not be able to refund you, then that is the contract, right? But if the contract says that in the event that you've done all these diligence fees and all this environmental impact assessment, you've done all the engineers' reports, then in the event that this contract dies, then we must pay, Well, but that transparency must be done now so that we know what we are dealing with and the magnitude of it, and put it out there for the public for once and for all, so that the country can move forward.
We'll shift to gears to other matters that the president touched on for the rest of time.
Any corruption deal which may have been involved as far as Adani deal is concerned, those people must carry their cross.
And still could be involved. Corruption could be involved during this cancellation period.
Yes, if there is any corruption issues.
Ruku, I don't need to cut you. You see, Chacha, you are a presenter, and I can see where our public is right now. The public has lost trust. There's trust deficit with the government, because even this anticipatory language of there's a possible scandal that will come out in the cancellation shows that trust deficit. And Ruto, the president, must actually confront this reality of public deficit, of trust and opinion.
But now you have cancelled my statement. So let me finish, and I was kind to allow you.
Yes.
My point is, if there is any corruption prior or even now,
loading,
okay, it must be dealt with. And I think President was categorical as far as dealing with corruption moving forward is concerned. Well, but also, as members of parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly, we have failing this nation. As I have said it before, how? By not providing our courts, our judicial, our justice administration system with watertight corruption laws. I have mentioned, I've been here, Chacha, the other day, several times, saying that we don't, the anti-corruption laws are not watertight. And I have been there in Parliament trying to make an amendment so that we may ensure we have watertight laws which can fight corruption in this country.
Well,
but the resistance which is there, even from
corruption is fighting back.
Even from the corruption the institution which are fighting corruption, they are resisting changes of some of these laws.
But there they cited that we were clawing back to the gains that we had made.
Can they explain, Chacha, can they explain why we have terms, in law which are not defined?
It's okay.
I think let's also
Ruth, let's be clear. Also touch on other key issues that you feel maybe they outstood during the president's speech. At the same time, what the president could have missed while addressing the nation.
Thank you.
In a minute, 30 seconds.
Let me first continue with the debate of corruption. Have you ever seen any prosecuted successful corruption case in Kenya? Yet corruption is the biggest balloon even in the Kenyan budget.
Yes. The president slammed the DPP, by the way, for removal of the cases.
Oh, yeah, but you see, the second thing, no, but you see, the second thing, these two legislators have agreed, and have actually, I like the fact that they have agreed. The MPs and also the senators have failed this country. They have continually failed this country, and they could not have been standing yesterday of vetting some of the things they should have done earlier. Those things, they were not supposed to show us how they are clapping loudly. So next time, I'm sure now that Rocco is talking about that, I'm sure they will do much better. On the things that were skipped yesterday that are very important to this country is first, the issues of pending bills. Kenyans are dying and with loans and choked businesses. These are the things that should be able to add to the economic of this country. Second thing, the fact that individuals are being overtaxed, over 50% in taxes. It is killing the morale of work in these countries, and other institutions are considering going to other countries because it is becoming unbearable and manageable to work in this country. The third thing, I did not hear as much as Shah Chief was mentioned. There was not a mention in terms of the implementation roadmap. That was didn't come out clearly. And the fourth thing is the fact, I know education was mentioned, but the issue of the gridlock right now affecting university was not mentioned. It was not said that universities are on strike and there is no learning going on. Yet youth in this country are being totally ignored. Those ones that are unemployed and those ones that are in school. The issue of Moi University, as much as it was mentioned, the whole issue of people who have gone to school for 9 years because of corruption cases, it was not mentioned what they are supposed to do. Can they be taken to other institutions? Things that needs to be done urgently.
Thank you. Honorable Eddie, even as we wind up, also on what the president skipped on the matter of abduction of Kizza Besigye, maybe it will have featured. As
we wind up, Chacha, one thing that I must say that on the issue of corruption, just in a second, the issue of corruption, the institutions that have been there, especially the EACC, has never indicted any major corrupt people, right?
And the EACC has been presenting files to the DPP. The DPP has not been acting on them. And that's why perhaps the president actually directed his hand towards the DPP and not
both
EACC.
The DPP, for the files that the EACC has given
it's not
is underwhelming. There's no transparency, it's underwhelming, it's not proper files. On this, my sister, I can take pride, just like the lizard that fell off a rock tree and nobody praised it. I can praise the Senate against the EACC and against the judiciary that Senate at least has impeached a number of corrupt individuals and who have done a lot of mutilation of our constitution by doing deeds that were corrupt or by doing deeds that were violating the constitution.
But the Senate has been accused of corruption.
No, that's fine. All the institutions are accused of corruption, but I'm talking in terms of dealing with corruption. We have got over 5 impeachments that the Senate of Kenya has done. And I think that one should be appreciated, that the Senate of Kenya at least has stood against some giants in this country, including the former governor of Nairobi, who was a very powerful individual, if you think about the ranks of individuals in this country. So the Senate is doing its job. But that said, I think that the biggest problem and the biggest gap that I think that the president did not actually capture well is the issue of dealing with youth bulge versus opportunity for young people in this country. Remember, some of these Adani issues that we're talking about was not just talked about by Kenyans. It was by a swath of young people who are technically savvy, who could go out there and get information. And even when the country was facing a lot of challenges in the June uprising, it was young people, it was the Gen Z. And these Gen Z still don't have jobs. There is no proper internship placement. There is no proper stipend for those who are in some internship places. I wanted to see some rigor in terms of response for young people's opportunities, because that is the biggest problem, the ticking time bomb that we have in this country, is the energy that we have with young people vis-a-vis the lack of opportunities for them. There was no vigor to that. The human rights issue, violations issues, the president touched on it, and I think that he tried to balance the idea of where the question of legal issues come in place and vis-a-vis fighting this problem. But he didn't talk about some of these overarching issues of abductions that are happening in a way that is completely crazy. The basic issue, the MCA that I've been fighting for, the MCA for Wajir, who has been missing for the longest time possible, I don't know how it could skip the state not to talk about it, even if it's so complex. So it's an issue that the president is still confronting, and he must deal with it. And lastly, Chacha, on this, the Senate that, again, I'm talking about, in the wake of that uprising, the Senate did a serious resolution of the House. I want to urge the president that his answer in terms of dealing with human rights issues are all in that resolution, and they can be able to take that resolution and implement it as it comes from the Senate, because it will solve a lot of things for once and for all for the country.
Thank you so much. Honorable Ruku, in a minute or less, kindly, your final remarks.
My final remarks
especially on what the president could have skipped.
There are issues which, Chacha, which are very important that you have not touched on them. You only dealt with Andani. I don't know why.
We'll still have another
to the minister in charge of health, please, let's have bi-weekly media conferences. Tell Kenyans what you are doing to ensure there is registration and the challenges which Kenyans are facing when they go to hospitals, both public and private hospitals, what they are supposed to do. Have a team of your technical experts, even those who have provided this portal for registration. Let's get answers from the Minister of Health or the Minister of Health, because we can't leave this only to politicians. We are not managers in the Ministry of Health. We may not be able to answer all the questions to our constituents. We need to see the ministry, the managers within the Ministry of Health coming out every week telling Kenyans what they are supposed to do when they go to private hospital or public hospital and they have registered and they cannot be treated.
Well, thank you so much.
We need this to be resolved. Finally, the speech by President William Ruto was very, very well balanced. For me, I would give it 80%. There's still a room for doing further to 100%, but for the state of the nation, it's extremely well balanced. We are in the right direction, and we'll be vindicated in 1 year from now.
Thank you. Quickly, there's a constituent of yours with the name Gatuti Njue asking that Embu Siakago Road is in bad state. Siakago has no stage. What are you doing?
It is true. It is true the Embu Mudatari Siakago Road requires recarpeting for about...
So you're working on that?
We are working on it.
Well, thank you so much.
A stage for the vehicles, the county government should work on it.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, Mbeere North Member of Parliament, Ruth Kinyanjui, an economist, and as well, Honorable Eddie Okech, Migori Senator. It has been a conversation reviewing the State of the Nation address that was issued by President William Ruto. My name is Joel Chacha. Do enjoy the rest of the video. Good day.
To maximize on space and